And so what happens if, in another 10 years we go by and it's like the crypto economy is 20% of global GDP? Okay, well, it wouldn't be very inclusive to use, the currency of one sovereign nation inside the global system.
Right.
And so I do think there could end up being a world where there is a more transnational currency that's being used. And honestly, that would probably be more fair in the sense that there's not like some small number of people with their fingers on the dials who could change it too much.
Right.
Now, what exactly that'll look like? I mean, look, I think Bitcoin is an incredible gold standard. Some economists would argue that and I think it's really important to have a gold standard. Some economists would argue that you actually want to have like a slight inflation rate to get something to encourage people to spend it. The
price stability.
Yeah. So I don't know. You could imagine a version of a coin out there that was trying to more tied to like CPI or just a flat 2% inflation rate or something like that. That I think the crypto economy basically could come up with a better form of like a transactional currency that's superseded, or it might just be a basket of fiat currencies or things like that. So I don't know exactly how that's going to play out, but I do think that it would be a very good thing for the world.
Yeah, I sort of think of it as like synthetic forms of global digital currency that could actually have a meaningful peg against something like a Bitcoin as well, or have a ratio that's there that's then kind of, so you have a sound money, kind of basis, but you also have something that, is a more kind of stable unit of account and that maybe has tie-ins to the biggest fiat currencies. And so definitely a space to experiment.
Way, way, way simpler. Right. So the usability, I think, it's got to just be like, you want to buy that, you click a buy button, and it all magically works somehow.
Like a lot of people often say, like, crypto reaches mainstream when people don't know they're using crypto, right?
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Support this great content by hitting the Cash App and by joining the Patreon.
And guys, we have Coinbase and Circle back together. Brian Armstrong and Jeremy Allaire moving USDC forward. And we know Brian Brics and Jeremy Allaire has stated that they were working on a global stablecoin. And what did Jeremy state? A form of synthetic digital coins. Basically, the system over top of what we already have. Because, guys, we know these stable coins, CBDCs, are illegal when it comes to the Constitution. But you're just building a whole new system over top of what you already have. And we have Circle and Coinbase state that they're going to be moving USDC to 6 blockchain and will be investing in Circle. And don't forget, guys, when we look at USDC, when we see Stellar, when we see Ripple XRP, we know Stellar and XRP are those protocols to move these stable coins and these CBDCs. And that's why those protocols are so important. And we know this Coinbase and Circle news comes out today for a reason. That's right, the Brics Summit, guys. They're coming to de-dollarize majority of the globe. Remember, guys, this is all part of a plan. You have over 20 countries ready to join the Brics. And guys, the only thing you have to do is sit down and look at the Belt and Road. And remember, the de-dollarization started in 2014. And we know the manifestation period is 10 years. 2024 is the kickoff for the emerging markets to launch this fourth industrial revolution. And of course, the United States is behind on purpose, which won't kick off until 2025. And guys, you're witnessing the fall of America to Babylon 2.0. And the rise of the emerging markets led by China the Dragon, along with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you about it a long time ago and wrote about it a long time ago because he knew when it came to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
There's also been some suggestions that Saudi Arabia could be brought into this group, and that would have a meaningful impact because then you've got a currency story that could go somewhere. They need to buy oil. At the moment, that's priced in dollars. But if you could find a way of pricing that in other currencies, that would have a significant impact.
Yeah, also on the subject this week is the topic of expansion of the Brits, and Saudi sort of bubbling in the background. I think that would be a big market mover, actually, if Saudi were to enter the kind of Brics this week. And as you say, the subject of denominating oil in a currency other than dollars is a big topic. But remember as well, in Europe, they've tried to kind of switch pricing into euros, and that's taken about a decade and hasn't got very far at all. So
if Saudi Arabia wants to do it, that would be a different narrative, wouldn't it? Yeah, but that would be sort of within the region, within the BRICS region. And I think with the report that we put out last week, the evidence so far is just it takes time. Right. It's very kind of gradual. It won't be kind of sudden if there is a shift.
Well, it's not straightforward. Economically, the only reason why the group is that interesting, frankly, is because, of course, China. China, of the four countries that I thought should be in the acronym, didn't include South Africa, as you said, as Jen said in the report initially. China is the only one that has grown more than any of the assumptions we ever made, despite its own disappointments the last 5 years. India got close, but Brazil, Russia, and South Africa have all been, particularly since 2010, extremely disappointing. And so it's an uneven group. And without China and without India, I don't think it would be that interesting at all, economically. And amongst the second thing to say is amongst the many complications I have going around my head about this possible expansion is economically not many of the countries that are applying to join are particularly large. So I'm not quite sure what it is they're trying to achieve, which takes me to the third point, is that ever since they set up the political grouping and South Africa's presence, it's been, again, as Jen showed in her brief segment, it's been very disappointing. At a minimum, you would expect they would focus on doing something to improve their collective growth rates. And if anything, as I sometimes tease BRICS leaders about and their advisors, the opposite has happened. So they've had enough difficulty trying to agree just between the five of them. So beyond the admittedly hugely powerful symbolism, I'm not quite sure what having a lot more countries in there is going to achieve.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is It's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, well, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get on stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate. Not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.